Good evening and welcome to the great city of Opa-locka. This is our regular commission meeting. Tonight is October 5th, 2022. The time is 7:12. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
I'm here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Here.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Here, please stand for a moment of silence for the victims of Hurricane Ian, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. As we know, this is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You see us all in pink. And we know to continue to the struggle, the fight for breast cancer. And I'm so happy to see Captain Rogers, our own Captain America, with all his pink on. Do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions from the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to pull 16A1. 16C1 and C2.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So those items don't necessarily have to be pulled. They will be discussed individually. It's only items from the consent agenda.
Okay, well, I think, so the way it's written, 1 through 12 looks like it follows on the consent agenda. So that. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go back. Pulled item 1, what was the other one? Oh, none of your items were consent. I got it. Okay. Okay,
One.
Yeah, I mean, but I do want to speak on it, no?
So, Madam Mayor,
yes.
so we would be pulling any items under 13. So any items between 13.1 and 13.12. If you want to pull those for discussion, then this is the time to pull any of those items.
No.
Are those any of the items?
No.
Okay, got it. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
and I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the inclusion of an add-on item that has been added on.
Move it.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
if you want, I can read this item into the record.
please do. Thank you.
So this item would be amended as 14.1 under new items, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, partnering and approving the use of city resources to support the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation 5-day event, The Art of Transformation, to coincide with Art Basel Miami Beach 2022. The event, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This item is sponsored by the city manager and will be included as 14.1.
Thank you so much. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the amended item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass, second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the ARPA workshop minutes of July 18th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the first budget hearing minutes of September 14th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any District 1 or District 2 County Commissioner reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any public presentations?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please read into record the participation for Citizens Forum?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Shabani Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City Commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And at this time, Madam Mayor, we do have one individual that has registered to speak virtually, and that's former Commissioner Dorothy Johnson.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, you're on.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. And thanks again to the commission and city staff. First, congratulations to the staff and the commission for the millage rate that is very much needed by us, the citizen. But I would like to share, and I think I brought it up before, your marketing contract or agreement has already been approved. But remember, the comprehensive plan have not came in front of the commission for approval. It's a 7-year plan with 8 tasks in it, and it does require a lot of community engagement. Now, the previous time I walked the street, I called as a volunteer. Whether I'm on the commission or not, I will not be doing that this year. Y'all got money. I had a little mercy, but that's over. So somehow I haven't heard that in your marketing. I haven't seen your agreement. And I just want to make sure, because I am on the planning and zoning. We did listen to it for information, but I just want to make sure that you make a good education decision on that as you go forward. The litigation, thank you to your staff for bringing it up. But if I recall correctly, listening tonight, you may have to get a loan. So let's use this. If you have a budget at home and you get $5,000 a month, but your spending is $6,000 and you got to borrow $950 every month, how are you going to catch up? That's all I'm saying on that. I can go further, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned when I look at a budget and I don't see those items in a line item, not grouped together. You can do a lot of things. And I know what happened in 2008. A lot of things was grouped together, and we got legislation to say that the budget must be presented line item. Through with that. I want to make a correction because I was really joking, but I know sometimes things can be taken out of context. When I said that the manager was avoiding me, I mean, he's so busy sometimes when you call and they say he's on vacation, he's in a meeting, he always get back with me. So I don't want that. I haven't seen him lately. Speak to him via text when I get citizen concerns, but I don't want that comment to be taken out of context because I think we're on the right road. We just have to build this dream team so y'all can work together for the same common goals. And again, thank you and may God bless you. Bye-bye. And I didn't get all my questions answered, but I know the manager normally will provide a white sheet. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Citizens forum is open.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. My name is Luis B. Santiago, and I live in 1156 Perry Opera Street. And tonight, I take the opportunity, like a free citizen that I am, to come in front of the chamber to say what is made me feel uncomfortable tonight with one item in the agenda. And that item is number 16A, that I believe is be presented by community development and bringing by the city manager. I see that something is not really right in that resolution. I believe that it's gonna violating the rights of the owners or residents of this community or part of this community. I think by myself that is anti-constitutional to send somebody from the city and search my house inside. It's only one institution can do that. That's the bank. When you put your house for sale, or they sending somebody and they doing it. Thank you very much for your attention, Madam Mayor and Commissioner, and it's something that we have to be thinking about it, to not violating the right for people that we live and we work hard to maintain our property here in the great city of Opa-locka. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Public hearing is open.
Good evening, I'm Beverly Jones, 2507 Atlantic Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. I have some issues with the drainage, the sidewalk in the street. And I have talked to Mr. George Alice and Mr. Austin about it. But I talked to several people because I've been in the neighborhood almost 35 years. And if someone can look into that issue for me, I appreciate it. Because no one is coming. I don't try to get them to come, they won't come. They're like they're scared. But we got a big problem. It's the worst problem over there. When it rains, it didn't even have to be a hurricane. It's a hard rain. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Sorry, citizens forum. So sorry, it's a public hearing. Madam Attorney, if you can read into record item 14.1.
A resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of Opa-locka, Florida, partnering and approving the use of city resources to support the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation, Inc.'s 5-day event, The Art of Transformation, to coincide with Art Basel, Miami Beach 2022, the event, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. You can introduce the item.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce this item. This is something that we, the city, are very excited to partner with the Opa-locka CDC on this very, very special event that we believe will be advantageous to the Opa-locka CDC and particularly advantageous to the city of Opa-locka. We have the Opa-locka CDC team here to do a special presentation to talk about this very, very unique opportunity and this very, very unique event. And I will lend the floor to that team at this time.
Let me move the item real quick. Give me 1 second. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. We're now ready for discussion.
Hi, good evening. My name is Suzanne McDowell. I'm President and CEO of Circle of One Marketing. And we are so excited. We are so excited to bring the Art of Transformation, humongous, fantastic event for Art Basel. The event will start on the 30th. It will be over on the 4th of December. And we're looking forward to it being 5 fun days where we're able to showcase the best of Opa-locka. We work for the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation. We have been their marketing agency since 2012, and we created the Art of Transformation brand. The Art of Transformation is meant to be a 5-day event that is going to have some interesting and fun activations, including Haitian Art Gallery in the Hurt Building, and Urban Oasis in the lot that's across from the Arc, of course, the Arc, and a butterfly garden, and a lot of amazing, fantastic opportunities for us to be able to communicate with the rest of the community that Opa-locka is ready and open for business and doing business with art and the art of transformation. So we're excited. We're here to answer any questions you have. Our agency has been doing this for many, many years, and we're, no judgment, but we're pretty good at what we do. And we're very, very excited to bring our time and our talent here to the city of Opa-locka that we have been working in for the last 10 years. So I am going to introduce my team. This is Flora Sweet. Flora Sweet is, in effect, the producer of the event. She is the logistics. She's the lady that knows where all the trash cans go and what lights should go where, and this should be blocked and this shouldn't be blocked. And by the way, and how come? That's what she does. I'm the talker. I'm the marketer. I'm the PR person. I make things popular. So, and then we have James Brazil, who is essentially our architect. He's the one that's going to show you on this map where everything is going to go. So.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is James Brazil, and I'm here to present what the plan and design of what this event would be. We'll go to the next slide. So we know this is the location in Opa-locka, and the next slide. And so primarily these are the central locations in which we have the Hurt Building and the Arc Building and the historic train station as the 3 existing buildings that will be activated during this event. Now, purely by the location of those 3 buildings, we have 4 spaces, outdoor spaces in pink that will be activated in a semi-permanent installation through the Art Basel event. The next slide. So this is a look at the event during the week, in which we propose to create 3 crosswalks on Alibaba, 2 on Alibaba Avenue and 1 on Purvis Avenue, to have a safe transition between these spaces. The outdoor spaces, which was highlighted in the previous slide, will be turned into a food truck, street food market right next to the Hurt Building. The spaces adjacent to the Arc Building in front will be a lounge area, which will be always open to the public. And in the Urban Oasis on the vacant lot directly in front, we do propose a Art Basel tent, which will have featured the Africans exhibit and have vendors inside that tent. And outside in the garden, which will be there to stay for upwards of 2 to 3 years, will be an urban oasis, will be a garden, will be a stage that will be there. They will also host a marketplace on the Sunday event. Now, we do propose linking that vacant lot and this urban oasis, this garden, to the historic train station through a butterfly garden that's currently a derelict area, and that beautification will be there to stay ongoingly. So we're very excited this event will bring this a lot of beautification to the area, and a lot of it will stay on beyond Art Basel. And the next slide. Now, what we are proposing on Saturday or Sunday or both days is a road closure. Now, as you can sort of see, we are proposing a detour around the whole event site And as you can notice that on Alibaba Avenue and Purvis Avenue, there's now really a proper street party where we will have public art installations in the middle of the street. We will have a lot of more opportunities for performances and a cohesive event if we're able to do that. And I do believe that this is one of the main items that we're proposing today. And now I'll pass off to Flora to talk about the scheduling of the event.
We propose starting on November 30th. It's a Wednesday. That'll be VIP night. So invite only. You guys are invited, by the way. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be a continual from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. And you'll be able to visit all of the exhibits. There's 5 activations. So the African tent, the Ark, the Hurt Building, the Block Party, and the Urban Oasis, and the Butterfly Garden. So that'll happen from Thursday to Sunday, from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. So that's our schedule. Thank you.
So we wanted to see if you guys had any questions.
Yes, are there any questions from the commission?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
well, I'll say this, I am excited about it. I'm familiar with your work, which is what I told you when I met you before, the work that you do in Jazz and the Gardens. And I'm also I was able to experience this in 2012 when you did it here in the city. So I'm excited that you're actually bringing Art Basel back to Opa-locka. So again, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
thank you. I'm familiar with the Art of Transformation event. I obviously used to work for Opa-locka CDC, and over the years, I think it's been an awesome draw to be able to bring outsiders to our great city. I know in previous years, we focused in some respects on the Moorish architecture and some of our own art, unique art and cultural kind of assets here in our community. Are we looking to maybe incorporate, maybe a tour? I don't know if it's a walking tour or something, or maybe some, how we can like kind of introduce outsiders to our historic structures?
That's actually a really good idea. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
James has the answer.
No, I've been touring the Opa-locka CDC buildings, the historic train station, so on and so forth, to look at reinvigorating those with that Moorish theme. And I think if you notice on the slide, the public art installations that will happen in the middle of the street are all Moorish inspired as well. And I believe that we were going to host a Moroccan kind of tea ceremony inside the urban oasis. And I do have a plan, which none of the rest of the team actually knows about, is that to turn the closed streets into a floor mural in which we can actually activate it with a history of Opa-locka augmented reality viewpoint. It's a very kind of lightweight way to engage the community, but I think it's important to transfer the history that is in the past, but really looking forward to the future and how these cultures kind of come together in this event.
Thank you. Yes, I think that'll be very helpful if we can engage the community in some way, if, whether it be through the various activities you guys have planned, or, via our own unique architectural style. Yeah, that would be my only recommendation. I support it wholeheartedly. You guys done great work over the years. I watched you work in our city and in others. So I'm glad to have you aboard. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Bass.
thank you all so much. To say that I am elated, that's an understatement. I cannot wait to experience all that's proposed. And I cannot wait to spread the word with our parents at work, to let them know that you don't have to go to Miami Gardens. That week, there's a lot in Opa-locka that you could come and have fun in your own city. And that's what we've been craving for. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. I have 2 words. Thank you. We're grateful. We appreciate it. I think that's more than 2. But anyway, I'm so excited. I am really excited. This is going to be great. I'm an art lover myself, culturalist, so we're ready for this. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes, yes.
Mayor
yes.
Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to back up from to the beginning and say, hello, city commission, city manager, city clerk, city attorney. I forgot to say hello at the beginning, so I'm saying hello at the end. Thank you very much. We look
Hello.
forward to
Thank you,
making you
Ms.
proud.
Douglas. Love her. Madam Clerk, Madam Attorney, item 15A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3, Section 22-61 of the Land Development Regulations to include.
Madam Mayor,
That's not the one.
15A1,
15A1.
planning and zoning
My
item.
apologies.
Resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the tentative plat review request for the construction, rehabilitation, and operation of a construction equipment rental company at 2950 Northwest 132nd Terrace and 2990 Northwest 132nd Terrace, identified by folio 08-2128, 004-0350, and 08-2128, 004-0340 in the I2 zoning district, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date, sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, if you can introduce the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is an item that is coming through our Planning and Community Development Department. Once the item moves, I will have Mr. Gay available to answer any questions.
Okay, can I have a motion to move and discuss agenda item 15A1?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
Forget how long of a walk it is up here. Graham Penn, Burke, Howard, Del Fernandez, Larkin, Tappan is 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. We represent the applicant in all the 15 items, all three of them, which are related. So I have a full presentation I can give you for all three of them. But otherwise, it's a very simple, this tentative plat is very simple. It's finally modernizing a existing industrial site, and the overall project will include the introduction finally of modern parking, modern landscaping. We will be expanding the existing dilapidated structure and improving the structure on the site, perimeter tree installation, and this plat, which is important, will be dedicating public streets on two of our streets for the first time ever, right? This area of the city has a circumstance with a lot of undedicated roads. And dedicated means that we, are providing it to the city and improving it. So again, I can give you a full presentation on all three of these items. It's very straightforward, existing industrial site that is being modernized. So I'm going to, unless you're interested in more detail, I will sit down and ask for your approval of this tentative plan.
Thank you. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the commission? Okay.
Oh, well, I'll just say something, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
I really didn't have a problem with this item. They're not, requesting a zoning variance or anything like that. They're basically just expanding their property on an existing site, which is why I guess they have to submit an additional site plan. In addition to that, we're not to the development agreement item, so I'll just speak on those when we get there.
Okay.
Madam. Thank you.
Thank you so
Madam
much.
Mayor,
Yes.
we do have more information from our Community Development Department available to you
Oh,
if you like.
well, sure, yes.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. The item one is a approval of a tentative plat. As has been previously stated, the reason for the plat is to basically do dedications of right-of-way for the roadways that are immediately adjacent to this particular property. This is basically allowing for the increase of the actuation of the roadways being recognized as full roads. That would be Northwest 131st Street, Northwest 31st Avenue, and Northwest 132nd Terrace. Because at this time, those roadways, even though they exist, they have not been fully dedicated to the city for maintenance and improvements. So the tentative plat will allow that process to move forward. This was presented before the Planning and Zoning Board. They did recommend approval, and the staff also recommends approval. If you have any questions or concerns, I'll address them at this time.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Gay? Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the final site plan review request for the construction, rehabilitation, and operation of a construction equipment rental company at 2950 Northwest 132nd Terrace and 2990 Northwest 132nd Terrace, identified by folio 08-2128 004-0350 and 08-2128-004-0340 in the I2 zoning district, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date, sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a part of the same project, same actually client as the representation said, and the same presentation provided by Mr. Gay.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
It's been moved.
Second.
Second, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Oh, did you want to speak? Oh, public hearing is open.
Again, Graham Penn, Burkow, Riddell, Fernandez, Larkin, Tappanis, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. I'm just going to, just for the record, I will ask that my testimony on the other item apply to this item as well. A couple of other details that I didn't touch on my brief remarks on the plat. This site plan, as I noted briefly, will modernize this property, will provide real actual parking lot that doesn't exist now anywhere in this area. It will also result in the installation of 75 new trees, as well as nearly 700 new shrubs on this property. And again, as anyone knows this neighborhood, this will be the first of this block to finally modernize this area and bring forward a modern, clean industrial buffered use to this property. So again, we'd ask for your approval of the site plan.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 3.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the development agreement approval request for the construction, rehabilitation, and operation of a construction equipment rental company at 2950 Northwest 132nd Terrace and 2990 Northwest 132nd Terrace, identified by folio 08-2128-004-0350 and 08-2128-004-0340 in the I2 zoning district, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date, sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The city has no additional information. The first two components of this project have passed, and we requested the third pass as well.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
I'm moving faster this time, Madam Mayor. Graham, Penn, Burke, Howard, Dell, Fernandez, Larkin, Tappanis, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. Briefly on the development agreement, as you all know, it's a city requirement that every site plan application that comes through has a companion development agreement. This development agreement, as drafted by the city attorney, includes all the required elements, including permitting and construction deadlines for the project, operational requirements, an important element, of course, and the reason this is a recorded development agreement, it also imposes continuing obligations to maintain the improvements in perpetuity, right? That's the real value to the city in all these development agreements, that it ensures the continued proper operation of the use. Moreover, a fairly recent change, which we've agreed to, is a list of employment outreach requirements that require us to hold job fairs, et cetera, to ensure that we can hopefully have Opa-locka residents working on the property. So we have no objection to the development agreement as drafted by the city attorney. I'm going to ask for your approval of it tonight.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Madam Attorney, item 16A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3, Section 22-61 of the Land Development Regulations to include provision for certificates of reoccupancy, providing for regulations, providing for penalties, providing for adoption of representations, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, if you can introduce item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Absolutely. This is an ordinance that's being presented by Planning and Community Development Department. We have the director of that department, Mr. Gregory Gay, available for discussion and answer questions.
Okay,
Is he coming?
this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved
Second.
and second. Thank you, Mr. Gay.
Madam Mayor, members of the commission, Gregory Gay. The purpose of this ordinance for first reading is to basically create an opportunity for our properties to be checked as they go through financial transactions. We've noticed over the years that there's been a number of properties that have been sold in the city of Opa-locka. And in some cases, these properties will have liens on them and in certain conditions that might not be livable at that particular point in time, but yet and still the properties will be sold, usually through a quick claim method. There are other municipalities who have introduced this particular type of legislation to basically require a certification process in order to make sure that whatever work has been done on the property was done with proper permits, and if there was any liens on the property, that those were actually dealt with or somehow addressed as a part of the closing. This was a collaborative effort with code enforcement, where we did a lot of investigation through the other municipalities that do have this particular legislation in place. We pretty much crafted it to be very close to what they do, but making it just as unique for the city of Opa-locka. And we do recommend approval for this legislation. If you have any questions, we'll address them at this time.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is, I don't agree with this. Reason being that I read in, page 1343 of 1402, section 3, the application, it states, it shall be unlawful for any person, firm, or corporation to sell, convey, or transfer any single-family condominium, duplex, triplex, or townhouse dwelling, unit, or apartment complex consisting of 4 or more units owned by such person, firm, or corporation unless a certificate of reoccupancy has been issued by the Director of Building and Licensing Department or his degree, or her designee. The certificate of reoccupancy, if issued, shall state that the city inspection has inspected the dwelling and has determined that the dwelling meets the residential occupancy regulations of zoning district and other city codes in which the dwelling unit is located. It shall be unlawful for any person, firm, or corporation to transfer, convey a single-family condominium, duplex, triplex, or a townhouse dwelling unit or apartment complex consisting of 4. It basically states the same thing. My problem is I own my home. Why would I want, the city to come if I decide to sell my house to inspect? Normally that is done through a bank. The bank, when they come, they inspect your house, they bring an inspector, they check. If they see something that is not in the plan when you first purchase your house, they're gonna say, okay, this shouldn't be here, this shouldn't be there. Why would the city of Opa-locka come in and you have to go through the city before you can sell your property? And the question to Mr. Gay is, what is the charge of this application?
The charge for this application, if my memory serves me correct, is approximately $125. And the purpose of this particular application is not just necessarily looking at transactions that involve a bank. So you are correct where when a transaction does involve a bank, the bank does have the opportunity through the prospective buyer to do inspections. We're finding that there's numerous properties where properties are changing hands through quick claim. There's no bank involved. Or if it's a cash transaction, there's no bank involved. Therefore, there will be no inspection. They basically are buying the property as is, and then they find out further down the road that there are liens and violations and citations on the property that the new owner is now responsible for. So this is to address those particular concerns.
Yeah, but this section here, like it states here, it's not clear then to me, because if I decide to sell my house, we have to go through this process. It's not talking about like what you're saying. And I don't, I just want to understand the benefits of this ordinance.
Through the chair, the benefits of this ordinance is to basically make sure that the conditions of the properties that are sold, whether it be through the bank or by a quick claim deed, that the properties in the city of Opa-locka meet those minimal requirements.
Well, I don't agree with this, and I will not support it because I'm an owner and I don't agree with this. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, any other questions?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Bass?
Mr. Gay, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're basically saying this ordinance will basically protect the buyer.
It will not only just protect the buyer, but it will protect the integrity of the properties that we have within our city.
Thank you.
Mr. Gay, how many other cities have this ordinance? Do we know, do the surrounding cities?
To my recollection, the city of Miami Gardens has this particular ordinance. The city of, or the village of Miami Shores
Yes.
has this particular ordinance. I believe North
And North
Miami.
Miami, yes.
So the surrounding cities have it where this ordinance makes sure that properties that are being rehabbed or updated, that they did it through the proper codes, proper inspections, and that those documentations are in place so that when the final owner, whether it be through quick claim, cash action, transaction, or whether it be through the financing of a bank, that those homes meet those minimum requirements. And these are the same minimum required standards as if they were building a brand new home.
Okay. And so from what I'm hearing from you, even as a homeowner, and I don't have a problem with this because I would want the integrity of my home. And I know that I would go through the proper legal, that's the operative word that I'm going to use, channels to sell my home in a legal way through the bank, through the proper channels when it comes to the sale of a home. It is my understanding that some of what our houses are going through right now, the housing market within Opa-locka, the change of hands, the bogus home sales, cash on delivery sales, all of that is what's happening here in our city. So we have no fail safe to know, has this home been properly vetted? Has this home had an inspection by either the bank or the city? We don't know that because there is no proper channels to say. I do believe, it is my understanding that those that do have an issue, when it comes to just turnover of property, yeah, that's okay. But what we want to do is make sure that proper homeowners within our city, taxpayers, are actually selling their home in a legal manner. And that's my stance on it. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was actually living in the city of Miami Gardens. I obviously used to live in a Bunch Park neighborhood, but I remember when Miami Gardens incorporated as a city, and obviously that small and unincorporated pocket had to now, comply with the new city laws. And I remember, residents complaining because obviously they didn't follow the zoning rules and codes as far as development is concerned, and didn't pull the proper permits for certain types of construction work. And it was a bit challenging, and obviously the city got a lot of pushback. But now fast forward, looking at the impact years later, I think this, like you said, it is a valuable tool and something that we can use to basically beautify and ensure that our city and its residents are operating by established codes and standards. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask a question. When was this fee approved by the commission? The $125?
It has not been approved by the commission. It's a part of the legislation.
Okay. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I will say, I do agree with the legislation, but I think it's getting lost in translation because what is being conveyed by others, it seems to think that this opens up the door for free fall for code enforcement to just go on your property and inspect when they feel like it. So I think you maybe should explain the process of this legislation, when, how, where. And I think that would, because when it was brought up during public comment, that's what would say that our rights are being violated. So maybe you need to explain the process of the certificates of reoccupancy.
Through the manager, I would like to ask for Ms. Wilma Wilcox to come up and explain that particular process.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and the Commissioners. To answer your question, Vice Mayor, code enforcement would not be the ones that will be inspecting the property. It would be the building official and his inspectors. The internal process, if you
Can
want.
you, Ms. Wilcox, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Because someone can hear you.
Okay, I was saying that code enforcement, just for the correction, would not be the department that would be inspecting the homes. It would be the building department through their inspectors and the building official. And the process, you're asking about the process, or you just want to know that question?
Yes, ma'am. That part, that came up, and also the process, so they know what it looks like. That way, because, yeah, please.
Okay, the internal process would be, first of all, they will come to the license department. They would apply for application with the payment. All the permits will be confirmed for the property by permit. Section code enforcement will review all the code violations to be shared with the building and license department. We will share everything with them. We will work in conjunction with them with the violations against the property. Once they file for the application and pay. And at that point, the housing inspector will conduct with the realtor or the seller to conduct the inspection jointly. After that, the inspection will be focusing on the leak construction. Anything that is in non-compliance, dealing with the building codes and the zones, the ordinances and stuff of that nature, they will identify all of that. So all of this is a process. They will have to get in compliance with any liens that's outstanding on the property within the 30 to 90 days. Once we do that, we will provide to the lien company a notice of certificate of occupancy. And at that point, everything else will be in compliance based on the process.
Okay, that's what I wanted you to explain, so they understand that this is just not giving code enforcement permission to go
Yes.
with binoculars in your backyard
Yes,
when
thank
they
you.
feel like it.
Yes,
So thank you for the explanation.
and thank you
Thank you,
for
madam.
asking.
Yes, and thank you so much for that. Ms. Wilcox, one last thing, I was writing some notes. Is it safe to say that we have owners that run up fines on their property, never pay them, do a quick claim, then the new owner comes in and then requests that the lien be removed because it was done by the previous owner? Is that a thing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
And it's a lot.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you. And that's not fair. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-1 first reading.
thank you. Was that two? I can't. That was one. Okay, thank you. Madam Attorney,
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving and adopting the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency's proposed general operating and tax increment fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2022, and ending September 30th, 2023, as set forth in Exhibit A, directing the Executive Director or designee to transmit a copy of said budget to Miami-Dade County, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for severability, providing for conflict and repealer, and clause, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the City Manager.
thank you. Mr. Manager, if you introduce the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Absolutely. So this is the first reading of an ordinance for us to move forward with the CRA budget. We have done individual presentations with all the board members. We're available to answer any questions. We ask to move this item forward.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move and discuss agenda item 16A2?
Move it.
Move, it's been moved in second. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I'm sorry, who's second?
huh?
Who's-
Oh, moved
Okay,
by
thank
Vice
you.
Mayor Taylor, second by Commissioner Davis. Or did I say that out of order? Move, second. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Got two deep voices up here. I don't know which way. Any questions, comments from the commission? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0 first reading.
thank you. Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving and adopting the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency's proposed general operating and tax increment fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, as set forth in Exhibit A, directing the Executive Director or designee to transmit a copy of said budget to Miami-Dade County, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for severability, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. First reading and public hearing was held on September the 14th, 2022, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this is just some cleanup items that we're doing from a budgetary and financial perspective with our CRA. We had to respond to some audit items. The first reading has already been submitted for the 2022. This is the second reading and we ask that this item be moved forward as the last budget was just read for the first time. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item and discuss it?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. There any discussion from the commission? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Item C1, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the exchange of property identified by folio 08-2122 007-0270 and owned by the city with property identified by folio 08-2122 000-0031 and owned by V Squared Investments LLC, and take all other necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'm going to discuss this resolution. There should be a map included in your agenda item package of that will help clarify what this item is. We'll try to get that up on the screen if it's already ready to go. This is actually property that is alongside Siegel Park, adjoining city-owned property. We have about an acre of land there that we have attempted to work with the owner to do a land swap for the better development of the city and the development of its property. So if you look here on the map on the wall, the property in red is the property that we are looking to do a land swap with. The rectangle property that is in green across from Siegel Park. And as you can see, we have over an acre of land that is vacant and undeveloped there that does not have, it's landlocked. It does not have access to the street. So there's nothing that the city can do with its own property so long as we do not take possession of that final piece. And very excited to announce that the property owner that wants to do the land swap wants to put a single family house on the other property. So it's a win-win for the city. We're currently utilizing that property for kind of spillover parking. There are about 5 parking spaces there. You might be able to squeeze 10 cars if you kind of if you squeeze them in really tight. What we're going to do is on the backside of Siegel Park, we're going to increase that lot by about 5 spots so that we're not losing any of our parking. But more importantly, our seniors lost their own dedicated park for some time since we've had Ingram Park closed and that facility has not been available to them. Our Parks Department through our city manager's office have been refurbishing Siegel Park so that the seniors have a place again in our city where they can convene and have services from the city. We're spending about $250,000 to support that initiative. We're purchasing new vans for them. We refurbished the first floor. And we're also going to be outfitting the second floor with new computers. So the fact that this park will be utilized by our seniors is also going to require less parking. So this is a win-win for the city all the way around. We're looking to take our own property, the large lot. Once we take possession of this red lot, and we have access to the street to develop some, partner with the developer to do some housing for seniors there. So with this opportunity, we're asking that you approve this land swap and that we can move forward.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to put on the record, these items and this item and the item that follows it are different issues. So one is a swap, the presentation that the managers just made. So if you approve this, then the other one is going to be inconsistent with it. And so you all will have to, I just wanted to point that out so you are aware of it, and maybe the manager can explain.
Yes, so let me provide a little bit more flourish to that. So if it be the will of the commission to not approve this land swap, which is the most advantageous route for the city and the least expensive, we're requesting that we move forward in the next item for a direct land purchase, which will be negotiated with the landowner, and those purchases are ranging between $100,000 to $200,000 for land in that area.
Okay. So so if it's a approve and not approve situation, right?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk,
Yes,
did
Madam
I
Mayor.
move the item? I don't recall.
No,
Okay.
I don't have a motion.
Thank
or
you
a
so
second.
much. Okay. Can I have a motion to move this item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis, second by Vice Mayor Taylor. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Are there any questions or discussion from the commission?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just my perspective, in the agenda briefing, with staff, asked a number of questions, looking at the cost of the property. I think that the, parameters that the seller is looking at, as far as market value, is a bit pricey. So I wouldn't be in favor of, the purchase, the property, because I just feel like it's not feasible and, financially smart from a, fiscal perspective. But however, I would be more in favor of the swap. Simply because I think, we're not going to develop the property right now. We're just using it, the property that we have site control over, for spillover parking, from one of our park facilities. I think it will be, if we're gonna, just kind of look at extra spaces for park improvements, I think obviously the swap would be the better option. Being that we could expand the park and provide various new uses for our seniors.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm in agreement with it. I wasn't at first, but I remember, and I told you why. Because when we talked to residents that were in that area, the biggest issue was parking for the park. So if you seem to have an option to fix that situation. So I'll go with it. But I just want to make sure that once we pass it, that we know that we need to designate parking for that specific park. Because that was a big issue with the residents that live in that area as it relates to this resolution. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I do agree that the land swap would be more feasible. The purchase is a little too advantageous in terms of what our fiscal responsibility is in terms of the city. I think the owner did kind of went over and above in terms of the sale of the property. However, I myself want to make sure that when it comes to events in and around Siegel Park will, because I do know some of the residents complain that events, they're parking on the streets in front of their homes, right in front of the park. I just want to make sure that overage, I hear you talk about 5 spots. Parking is just essential here. I don't know, I don't want to take one negative connotation of parking and then just move it to the back of the park. And then now those residents are now affected in the same way that the residents in front of the park would, I don't want to put a Band-Aid on the issue. So I definitely want to make sure we move it, but to ensure that within that movement, we're going to make sure that parking is readily available. I know we can't satisfy 200 cars, or we can't, but maybe somewhere within, when we do have events at Siegel, we cap it at a certain number in terms of parking, so that there's, let's say we have a party, your party has to be capped at, I don't know, 50 cars or something like that, so that we can make sure we're not putting that Band-Aid and just, peeling the Band-Aid off and putting it somewhere else. Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes,
Motion passes 4-1.
thank you. Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing and approving the purchase of the property identified by folio 08-2122-000-0031, owned by B Squared Investments LLC, and further take all other necessary actions to effectuate the intent of the resolution, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Madam Attorney, through the mayor.
Yes.
Madam Attorney, is it your advice that we now pull this item?
Mhm.
It's my advice that you just vote it down if that's the will of the commission, because it does appear on the agenda.
Thank you. So, Madam Mayor, we no longer.
Yes. Okay. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis?
No.
Commissioner Dominguez?
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
No.
Commissioner Bass?
No.
Mayor Williams?
No.
Motion fails.
At this time, Madam Attorney, if you can read into record the shade meeting.
Yes, Madam Mayor. One moment, please. This is notice of a closed door session. This notice is given that a private closed door session will be held pursuant to section 447.605 Florida statutes, and it will be held in Commission Chambers, Sherbundi Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida, on October the 12th at 5:30 p.m. or will be moved to an adjoining room within the building where the auditorium is located. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the following matter: union negotiations between the city of Opa-locka and the PBA, Police Benevolent Association. The following individuals will attend: Mayor Williams, Vice Mayor Taylor, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Dominguez, Interim City Manager Darvin Williams, City Attorney Bernadette Norris Weeks, Assistant City Attorney Sherlon McWhorter, Michelle Austin Pammies, Candace Cobb, Jordan Gary, and on the record court reporting. Thank you. And Madam Mayor, if I can just say, Madam Mayor and Vice Mayor Commissioners, what we're seeking to do is to hold this closed door session and immediately thereafter a special commission meeting that will allow you all to vote on the union contract that we've been working on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, the city manager's report.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as it is the will of the commission through Commissioner Dominguez, I want to provide a report for the record, how we are addressing some of the concerns and complaints that have been brought forward in previous, current and previous meetings. So I will start with Mr. Brian Dennis. In a previous commission meeting, he brought up section ordinance, actually 95.6, which is an extensive ordinance that whose intent looks to have both public and private employers hire residents from the city of Opa-locka. This is actually an initiative that we have already been working on in my administration, along with our community development department. We have already begun to add language into the developer agreement that requires developers coming into the city of Opa-locka to fund job fairs, market them, do outreach. We just had a very, very successful, our first job fair under these new guidelines that we're putting in the developer agreement. It was very, very successful. Very, very excited. The company hired Suzanne McDowell from Circle of One, who put out flyers, who we posted it on the city's social media. And we had all of the subcontractors from the developer come and hire our residents. One resident was actually hired on the spot. It was a very emotional, very powerful event where it was the first, and we will continue to do that. So we were already in the process of addressing Mr. Dennis's concern. We've also reached out to Mr. Dennis to partner with his organization Transitions to help more of our residents get involved with their employment in our city. In a previous meeting, resident Tarandi Mitchell discussed the 22nd Avenue Railroad crossing tracks. We have, as we promised, reached out to the Department of Transportation. They have completed their review and said at this time that there is no structural damage that needs to be addressed by the Department of Transportation. We will continue to keep, we have updated Ms. Mitchell with their response, provided with their photos. We will continue to do so and stay on top of any issues or concerns that she may have. Commissioner Dominguez has brought up her request that we begin to do some advertisings for to our residents through our water bills. We have partnered with the Miami-Dade County Water and Sewer Department, who will be instituting, doing some informational, some very small informational way for us to get out more information about our events in the water bills. As soon as next month, we will continue to put information in the water bills until our PR company has our first community residential newsletter ready to go. Resident Cecilia Pruitt brought up issues regarding illegal dumping. We are going to do a formal presentation on the illegal dumping task force at the next commission meeting on October 12th, which has been extremely successful. We've had arrests on both the residential and commercial side. We're hoping to get the word out more about the legislation so that some of the residents that are calling in can actually collect some of the awards that we have allocated. One of the arrests was made after a tip-off resulting from that legislation. Unfortunately, that resident chose to remain anonymous, so we have no way to provide that a resident with the reward dollars. But we're grateful for the tip, and we're grateful that we were able to stop the illegal dumping and catch the culprits. Ms. Pruitt also brought up compensation for the employees of the Public Works Department. I am very, very excited to announce that we have finalized and fully executed the ASME contract that the commission has ratified. We now have both our Human Resources Department and our Finance Department working diligently to calculate the pay rates and pay increases for our Public Works Department. Also want to also make the announcement regarding the compensation under my administration, along with the execution of the ASME contract. We have increased the minimum starting salary to $15 an hour. Finally, I'm very excited to partner with the city attorney to announce that we are moving forward with the negotiation of the PBA contract, and we're looking to have that successfully prepared for your ratification very soon. And I'd like to give a special acknowledgement to our Public Works Department. I've been working inside the city since 2018, and it's been my experience that we've always had, when a storm comes through, we've had water on the streets in Opa-locka 2 weeks later. Other parts of the county will be dry, and you come through Opa-locka and you still see floodwaters. So I'm very wanted to give a special acknowledgement to our Public Works Department, who is aware of our stormwater issues and was able to go out and, work overtime, work hard, do double shifts, and manually pump the water out of our streets. So I want to give a special acknowledgement to that team. This concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Are any questions for the manager or comments? So I want to also publicly thank the Public Works. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for thanking Public Works. You all know I do my own research. I don't need an aide to do that, but thank you. Oh, thank you. For the first time in the history of the city, I was writing some notes. Our Public Works Department took the time and effort to manually pump off all the roads. So as we can see, generally we have like a week or two of like flooded roads after a big storm. And if you drive through Opa-locka now, you don't see that. So I want to thank Public Works for taking that time out. Let's give them a shout out for that job that they took that task on themselves. And Mr. Manager, we hope they are compensated nicely. Hint, hint. Are there anyone else? Okay. Any official board reports, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Future agenda items. Okay. All right, well, I guess that's me. I do have one. I want to talk about my neighborhood, my streets, my city. About a year ago, no, a few months ago, I brought up something simple. And every day, my mama, who has been here for 40 something years, constantly talks to me or asks me, what are we going to do about this situation? And I'm talking about how our city has been overran by livestock of chickens. Overran. Seems funny. No one really thought about it when I brought it up. But we have to bring it up because I don't know if you know. I know chickens. I spent my summers on my grandparents' farm. So yes, I am a semi-farm girl. But one thing you need to know when it comes to a residential neighborhood, I have so many times swerved flocks of chickens going to work. When I back out of my yard, I look not just for children or people, but to make sure I'm not running over the abundant amount of chickens that have flooded our neighborhood. One thing that my grandfather taught me is if you don't keep livestock caged, they will run amok. They will multiply. They will multiply. And that's what has happened. And not just on my street or anyone's street, but all over the city. Now, I know it seems minute, but if there's a problem that we're going to let happen in an issue, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed visiting my grandparents' farm, not living there. I don't want to live on a farm. I don't want to live on a farm. I live in an urban neighborhood, and that's what I want to keep. I want to make sure we're making sure our property is kept, upkept in a nice, clean way. And I wrote some notes. I was also happy to learn, as I, of course, did my research, that within our code, we already have a prohibition against livestock, specifically chickens. However, I was unhappy to learn that there is no enforcement mechanism for our city manager to do anything about it. So we have the ordinance. However, we have the code. However, we don't have the enforcement. I don't want to wake up another morning to shoot chickens out of my yard or to sweep up the dirt or grass or the mulch that I paid for to have landscaped, because that's what chickens do. So I want us to change. So as the change agent that I asked myself or try to be, I want us to amend the city ordinance to add the enforcement mechanism to the ordinance that already exists that prohibits chickens within our city. And that's my future agenda item. Any discussion? Okay. All right, can I have a motion on the future agenda item?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm in agreement with you about the chickens, but I don't know if we should go as far as prohibiting chickens. I think that's a bit much.
It's the enforcement.
Yes. Mhm.
So we're in agreement that chickens can live in our city.
To an extent, not running wild, of course not, because I see what you see. Going to work, coming from work, they're there. I'm just saying to just go ahead and prohibit them, that's a little bit, in my opinion, much. But to be able to put a hand on it to kind of,
So maybe that's what we
Yeah.
need to do.
right,
Okay, so that's what we need to do, but we gotta put a hand on them.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just allow this to happen. This has, again, I brought this up several months and it was a small problem. We keep ignoring this. This is going to be a larger problem. And I don't know about you, but I get residents that talk to me about this all the time. I don't know. Mr. Manager, I don't know, you tell me. Do you, residents speak to you about this issue?
Madam Mayor, absolutely. I'll have to say that initially, when you brought this the first time, this was not something that was on the radar of the city manager. Since then, I don't know what has happened out there in those streets, but not a week goes by that we do not get a complaint in the city manager's office about chickens destroying the front yards of our residents. And I believe Ms. Wilcox from our code enforcement would like to speak to this issue as well.
Wilma Wilcox, Code Enforcement. I just want to make a correction, Madam Mayor, on what you were saying about there is no enforcement. There is a slight enforcement on chickens. First of all, in the code, what it stipulates, you cannot have caged chickens in your yard. So when we do find those homes that have cages of chickens, we enforce them, and we have proof of that in our office. The problem is when they're roaming free, we have no jurisdiction. It's no way to tell where they're coming from. But when you have them in your yard cage, yes, we can have you remove them based on the ordinance. So I just want you to know, you do have a slight enforcement there. With anybody that has cages that's, harboring fowl, birds, whatever, and they're raising them in their yard, that is against the city code.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ms. Wilcox. For the record, Madam Mayor, I'd like to provide the commission with the ordinance that's already in our code. And it's ordinance number 327. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3 of Chapter 5 of the Code of Ordinances dealing with domestic fowl by providing for a new Section 552 prohibiting the possession, breeding, and maintenance of domestic fowl on or about residential premises within the city of Opa-locka, Florida. Further providing for a new section 566, prohibiting the possession, breeding, and maintenance of livestock on or about residential premises, containing a repeal of provision and severability clause, further providing for effective date and codification in the Code of Ordinances. From the city manager's office, what we would request from the commission was some guidance as to, or what we'd like to bring back is, if it be approved future agenda item, is some guidance as to how we will enforce this code and how we will address it. The code is, the ordinance is already there, is already passed, been there since 2003. However, I'd like to be able to, as your city manager, say, this is what we're going to do about the chickens when a resident calls to the city manager's office, or send someone out with some ability to actually take some action when we do get those calls. Right now, when we get those calls, there's not a lot we can do. If it's, as Ms. Wilcox said, there's free roaming chickens on the yard. Besides, said that's something that we'll look into.
Mr. Manager, but so, and that is the issue, the free roaming chickens. What can be done to amend the code to make sure that those, that part, and maybe you can answer, Ms. Wilcox, that enforcement can happen?
So,
Mhm.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
That is exactly, Ms. Wilcox, I'll answer.
Okay,
That is exactly what, if this future agenda item passes, that's exactly what we'd like to explore and provide some options and recommendations for approval to the commission. We'd like the opportunity to look at, see what other cities are doing, our sister cities are doing in Hialeah, and Miami, to see how they're addressing this issue and apply it in the best way in the interest of our residents to the city of Opa-locka, and bring it back for your approval.
is there a motion on the item?
Move it.
Okay, it's
Second.
been moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
I have reservations on this. I mean, they don't bother me, but I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to see where these chickens and roosters are coming from or what residents. So I'm not sure how this is gonna work out, but I'll vote yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes, but I would just like to see what options are out there.
Right.
I mean, I'm familiar with the chicken issue, is one that lives close by, and it serves, it's been serving as my alarm clock probably for the last 3 years, so. Then, so I get it. But I do think it's gonna be hard to enforce if we don't, tie it to ownership or, but yeah, we can definitely see what options are out there.
I say, oh, you didn't call me.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. The chickens that's in front of my yard, I see them where they go. Thank you. Any other future agenda items? Okay. Mayor Commission reports.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge that we were able to receive an additional $40,000 in support to aid Opa-locka flea market vendors in their relocation efforts to the new Opa-locka flea market site. I'm very excited to announce the opportunity. I've been working with the Miami Foundation for a number of weeks. We had a press conference a few weeks back to announce it, and just very excited. I had an opportunity to also visit the new flea market site, and they're retrofitting it, and tenants are moving in, and they're anticipated to get started. So very excited to see all the resources and all our hard work come together, and we continue to work with and help our business community.
Great, thank you so much, and we appreciate that, Commissioner Davis.
Madam Mayor.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
All right, so I also too want to shout out Public Works for the hurricane supply giveaway and the sandbags with the bags with the first aid, the mask, the sanitizer, the radios, the flashlights. So shout out to Public Works for that. In that same vein, I want us to also understand that though we were not impact in a very tragic way, we have other neighborhoods that were. So we're starting a end supply collection drive here in Opa-locka, where we'll be collecting items to send to Fort Myers from our city in order to help with what they have going on up there. So that's going to start this Friday and it will go until next Friday. And then we'll partner with partners to get it over there to them. The other thing is we know that this month is Hispanic Heritage Month. So this year we're having our second annual Opa-locka, which is our Hispanic Heritage Street Festival that we have in front of our City Hall. That will be that's October 16th at 5 p.m. So we want to invite everybody out. We have a great lineup this year. It's going to be family friendly. Bring your lawn chairs, bring whatever you want to bring. Come out. The night is going to be great with music, vendors, food trucks, entertainment. So we want to invite everybody out to that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
Thank you. I also would like to invite everyone to, in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, I will be sponsoring a Hispanic Heritage Month event Saturday, October 15th from 6 to 9, Chivonde Village. I'm asking for the residents that are from different countries that they can dress representing their culture. We're gonna have live music, food, and some prizes. Also, DC to Win is gonna be sponsoring Chen Medical, DJ Panama. So come ready to come and dance and party. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Bass.
Thank you so much. On the 14th of this month, Friday, at 7 o'clock from 7 to 9, I will be hosting a community baby shower. So if there are any pregnant women out there, anybody who are in need of diapers, items for babies, we're gonna be raffling off a few car seats and other baby items will be given out. We'll have food, music, the whole 9 yards right here. Again, that's October 14th from 7 to 9 here at Chivonde Village. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So we have a whole lineup the whole weekend. We are ready to party and eat and fiesta. Siesta. That's both fiesta and siesta. Okay. So, and thank you all so much for the great work that you all do each and every day. And we're excited to continue to bring events to the residents and can't wait till we finally get a marketing group so we can push these events out and make sure that they are heavily attended by our residents. All righty, any official board appointments?
I don't have any applications, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Madam Clerk, if we could advertise for the various vacancies, maybe send out an email and just let individuals know that those vacancies exist so that we can, I see that I have one appointment, but to kind of usher applications and to get that process going, could we complete some sort of communication to the general public?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, please.
Will do, Commissioner Davis. So we also have the information on the city clerk's page as well, but I'll make sure that we do an email blast and also post on social media and just make sure we get the word out.
Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, we want to continue our prayers for our Floridians that were affected by Hurricane Ian. And, you know, that could have been us. And we thank God, thank you, Jesus, and that did not happen. And, you know, we fared nicely. Also, once again, we know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We encourage all of our women in Opa-locka and all of the women in our lives to continue to get your yearly mammogram, because we know that will, early detections save lives. So we just want to make sure that we recognize our survivors and also pray for those that are not no longer here with us, affected by breast cancer. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second. Someone? Second. Thank you. We are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.